two victims represented by family members who are pretty much on side with what I'm doing, and don't trust certainly fully the story that we've been given. But yeah, I mean, one couple are very elderly, and they just don't have the energy to do this.
Yeah, your resilience, sort of determination. I mean, at this latest news that this hearing to see whether the Attorney General's decision is justiciable.
Justice, yes, a strange word. Yeah, justiciability is, I guess, what we're is the topic. But yeah, are they amenable to judicial review?
And I mean, just that bit of it is costing. What's your last message to me? Was that you've raised 80 of 96,000 or something?
That's cost us 88,000. I mean, in total to date, it's just shy of 300,000.
The legal journey to do.
And we're not even. So the hearing that we've got scheduled in June, that none of the evidence about the inquest on 9/11 will actually be heard at that hearing. As to whether the Attorney General is above or below the law.
It's an important legal point, but it's not going to consider the.
It's far wider than just our case, because it affects plenty of other people who have tried to get down this path, and either they haven't had the funds or the energy to engage in the lawfare that obviously we've had to do, just to get to the point to make to force them into saying, actually no, you have to adhere to the law and you aren't above it, and your decisions will be reviewed by the courts in future.
And that's really important, isn't it? Can't have an Attorney General who can basically make rulings that are above the law, either in a normal kind of democracy, or so, because of the danger they become a kind of, they can say whatever they like this. They can say so you've got 7,500 pages of evidence.
The original application was 2,500 pages, and for this judicial review process we're going through, that's over 9,000 now. It's not an easy undertaking. I mean, judicial review is a very expensive process.
They're pushing to see, can you keep raising this kind of money? It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the function of lawfare. I think it's to exhaust you emotionally. It takes up your time, and just money is key. Unfortunately, barristers and KCs aren't cheap. It's frustrating. I've heard stories of people who have successfully gone down a judicial review path, not against the Attorney General, and it's kind of like, even though they may have won, it's like they said at every single step they could have just capitulated and done the right thing, but they don't. And I think they have unlimited resources. They can keep kicking the can down the road, and they just want to see you give up, because they know there's probably a percentage straight rate of, we carry on doing this, 90% is going to disappear.
Such a long journey. So they've just given you a date on the 18th of June. Richard Hermer is the current Attorney General, and at any point he could say, actually, do you know what, I'm going to let you have another inquest.
I mean, certainly he could intervene. They could capitulate at any moment. I mean, it's quite common, from what I understand, when you're in the legal system and you're making a claim against an authority, that quite often at a particular stage of the proceedings, they might just throw the white towel in and just go, right, we give up. I don't know how realistic it is for them to do that. They robustly challenged what we have argued about them making an unlawful, irrational decision. they're going to take it at least up to this court date on the 18th of June. It's not clear what will happen after that. I mean, there's a chance, say we win, and essentially we move on to the proper substantive part of the hearing, which is to look at our arguments as to why their decision was illegal and irrational. They may, at that phase, capitulate.
And say, you can have another inquest.
Yeah.
And then the thousands of pages of evidence you've got to do with the buildings coming down due to controlled demolition is examined, goes to court, basically.
Yeah, I mean, what we've submitted is to get that new inquest. So it's not everything we've submitted, that's it. It's more about getting the inquest reopened. So there's nothing stopping more evidence being submitted for the coroner to consider. We've just put what we considered to be the best new evidence, as well as arguing why there was insufficiency of inquiry, and we take it from there when we actually get the day in court.
So what are the main areas that you've got covered in terms of the actual evidence?
So let me just go through the list. So you've got eyewitness testimony, which is used in court routinely all across the world. We have the expert testimony. That's physicists, chemists putting forward, whether it be published papers or their own detailed statement as to why the buildings couldn't have come down due to gravity. There's just basic physics it's wrong. I mean, although Building 7 isn't directly involved with how my brother died, because he wasn't in that building, it is linked, and so that is also part of our evidence that we put forward. For something to fall at free fall acceleration for some 2 odd seconds, something has simultaneously moved all structural support. There's nothing slowing down that building. Equally, the North Tower, which is very easy to observe. Falls at a constant acceleration for, I think, 3 or 4 seconds. Again, that's impossible. If something's being destroyed underneath, it has to slow down, and you don't see that. So these are hard things for people to dismiss. It's banded around in social media and whatever. It's like you can't engage. It's really hard to actually engage with a professional physicist, partly because perhaps they just think it is fringe, but it's actually they can't. There is no rational answer to why something comes down at a free fall if you haven't used something like explosives.
And this is really follow the science, isn't it? I mean, for all that people got so tired of that saying, this is actually it, isn't it?